दशरथ नंदन राम। अयोध्यावासी राम 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 दशरथ नंदन राम।
अयोध्यावासी राम 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 दशरथ नंदन राम।
पतित पावन जानकी जीवन सीता मोहन राम।
पतित पावन जानकी जीवन सीता मोहन
पतित पावन जानकी जीवन सीता मोहन राम।
पतित पावन जानकी जीवन सीता मोहन
पतित पावन जानकी जीवन सीता मोहन राम।
पतित पावन जानकी जीवन सीता मोहन
अयोध्यावासी राम 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 दशरथ नंदन राम। गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि श्री श्री राधा कुंज बिहारी की जय, श्री गौर निधाय की जय, पंढरीनाथ महाराज की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि अयोध्यावासी राम 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 दशरथ नंदन राम। अयोध्यावासी राम 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 दशरथ नंदन राम। अयोध्यावासी राम राम राम।
Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I have an echo problem. Just give me 1 second. Yeah. So, Hare Krishna. Dheer, how are you?
Oh,
Good to hear your voice. Wonderful. Thank you for joining Berks Prabhu. Welcome to the program. So, Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome to today's Ram Navami celebration special program. And without further delay, we'll start Shri Ram Katha. I think Padmanabh das prabhu ji has already joined. And let me make sure. Yes, he's here. Hare Krishna Prabhu ji, Dandat Pranam. Ram Navami ki badai ho aap sabko. Or I think everybody is waiting eagerly to hear from you. We are missing few devotees. Amar Prabhu and Ajay Prabhu are traveling to New Jersey for some work. So, but I think we can start with the program.
Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesa Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Bhakti Bhakti Bhagavanta Guru Chaturnaam Bapuye. इनके पद वंदन की जय रासे विगान. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So, by Srila Prabhupada's mercy, we are all gathered here today to celebrate the appearance day of Lord Ramchandra. Today also, whoever follows the Swaminarayan Sampradaya, it is the appearance day of Lord Swaminarayan also today. So the Lord appeared, Bhagavan Swaminarayan appeared in the evening, 10 minutes after 10 o'clock. And he appeared in a village very close to Ayodhya. It's called Chapaiya. And he appeared in a Brahmin family over there. So they are called Sarvariya Brahman. So just maybe 250 years ago. So it's a double celebration day. Also, the devotees who worship Ma Durga, today is the last day of the Chaitra Navratri. And yes, this is the picture of Lord Swaminarayan. And all the teachings of this Sampradaya is totally based on Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. I was born in this Sampradaya, raised in this Sampradaya. And I was, by the mercy of Guru Gauranga, I was fortunate to study the scriptures under very nice guidance of this Sampradaya. So I can attest firsthand. There's a lot of misinformation which is being propagated due to lack of knowledge by other people about the Sampradaya. But, thank you for this wonderful darshan, Dear Krishna Prabhu. And it is still tradition at our place because, I was fortunate enough to born into a family which followed this Sampradaya since ages, since generations. And my mother and my father, and we also in a way follow. So even today, we have an Aarti in the evening along with, we do Aarti for Lord Ramchandra around noon and then Aarti in the evening, 10 after 10. And then Thakurji rests. Lord Bhagavan Ramchandra, it feels very foreign to talk about Lord Ramchandra in English. And that is how simple Lord Ramchandra is. Lord Ramchandra, the most accessible scripture in reference to Bhagavan Ramchandra is Rasi Ramcharitmanas, written by Goswami Sri Tulsidas Maharaj. And that was written in very simple language so that people who have no knowledge of Sanskrit can easily understand. And Valmiki Maharaj had written Valmiki Ramayana, but then Goswami Tulsidas was considered incarnation of Sri Valmiki Maharaj. He wrote this wonderful scripture called Sri Ramcharitmanas. It's a very sweet scripture, and therefore Lord Ramchandra's pastimes are synonymous with Ramcharitmanas. Therefore it becomes, it feels very foreign to talk about Lord Ramchandra in English, but we'll try our best. There is Srimad Bhagavatam, there is this wonderful slok describing the appearance of Bhagavan Ramchandra. It's in 9th canto, 10th chapter, verse number 2. Srimad Bhagavatam, 9th canto, 10th chapter, verse number 2. And in that chapter, the previous chapters describes the descendants of Sri Suryavans. And then this chapter describes the appearance of Lord Ramchandra. See, there are two principal scriptures in our spiritual journey that we encounter. One is Srimad Bhagavatam, and one is Sri Ramayana, especially the Ramcharitmanas. Ramcharitmanas is pastimes of Lord Ramchandra, and Srimad Bhagavatam is mainly pastimes of Bhagavan Sri Krishna. But it is found that even in Srimad Bhagavatam, pastimes of Lord Ramchandra is included. While in Sri Ramcharitmanas, you will not be able to find pastimes of Sri Krishna in Ramcharitmanas at all. So while describing the Leela of Bhagavan Sri Ramchandra, I'll just, Prabhuji has this slok up here, so we can read that slok from there. Sri Sukadeva Goswami says, Tasyapi Bhagavane Sakshad Brahma Mayo Harihi Ansa Shena Chaturdhagat Putratvam Parthitah Sureha Rama Lakshmana Bharata Satrugna Iti Sangeya. Sangeya means they were called by these names. Noun, Sangya means nouns. They were called by this Iti Sangeya, they were called by this name. What was the name? And you see how this is written, Rama, Lakshmana, Bharat, Satrugna. These are the four children who appeared to the king of Ayodhya Puri, Maharaj Dasrath. Tasyapi Bhagavan es Sakshad Brahmamayo Harihi. Therefore, Ansasen, and where it says Tasyapi, it says Tasyapi because in the previous slok, they're talking about the immediate lineage of generations or Purvaj of Lord Ramchandra. So there they mentioned that Lord Maharaj Dasrath appeared in Suryavans, and then therefore they continue the slok after that. Therefore, when they say Tasyapi, they are talking about Maharaj Dasrath. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Ramchandra Bhagavan, he appeared to Maharaj Dasrath as his son. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he appeared with his expansions. Ansha Sena, he appeared with his expansions. Amsa Asena, with his expansions he came. And what kind of expansions? Chatur Dhagat, four kind of expansions. One, Bhagavan Sri Ramchandra, and then Sri Lakshmanji, Sri Bharat Maharaj, and Sri Satrugna Maharaj. So these are the four expansions. Bhagavan Sri Krishna, himself, he expanded from the Supreme Personality of Godhead and he came as Lord Ramchandra. And then Lakshmana Maharaj, Bharat Maharaj, and Satrugna Maharaj appeared. So why does Sukadeva Goswami talk about Lord Ramchandra? The Acharyas have written some really nice commentary about this. That right before, in 10th canto, describing the pastimes of Lord Krishna, this wonderful heritage of Lord Ramchandra is described. Actually, the two ones, the Surya ones and the Chandra ones, Lord Ramchandra appeared in Surya ones, and Sri Krishna appeared in Chandra ones. So both the lineage are explained in 9th canto. Right? And while explaining the lineage, specifically Sri Rama Katha is being put in by Sukadeva Goswami. So why does Sukadeva Goswami chose to put Ram Katha right in front of Krishna Katha in 10th canto? The Acharyas and the devotees comment that Bhagavan Sri Ramchandra is known as Maryada Purushottam, while Sri Krishna is known as Leela Purushottam. Maryada, if we find an English, to find an English word which conveys the bhava, the feelings behind the word Maryada, it's very tough. With Maryada, you can translate Maryada as duty bound. You can translate Maryada as one who never oversteps his boundary. One who always does his duty, executes his duty perfectly, is called Maryada Purushottam. And Sri Krishna is known as Leela Purushottam. Each and every act of Sri Krishna is full of pastimes, loving pastimes with his devotees. It does not care whether the dharma is protected or not while doing those pastimes. Sri Ramchandra, always while doing his pastimes, will always ensure the dharma is protected, the maryada, the boundaries which are laid down by the shastra, by the scriptures. That's called dharma. It's always, and everybody have different dharma. The dharma of a son, the duty of a son is different than dharma of a father, the duty of a father. The religious principles to be followed by the son is different than the ones which is followed by the father. The principles to be followed by the kshatriya, the king, is different than the principles to be followed by the Brahmin, who's from the Brahman side of the lineage. So Lord Ramchandra appeared in Kshatriya lineage, and then he executed the duties of being a husband, being a father, being a son, being a friend, being a disciple. So many different duties he executed into different roles he played. And he executed with perfection. He never overstepped a single boundary. So why? Why is it necessary to share these things before Krishna avatar or before talking about Sri Krishna? The acharyas write that one has to understand that Lord Ramchandra is very sublime, very simple. He always obeys the boundaries created by the dharma. He always tries to follow them, and he tries to follow them 100%, right? One has to become like Lord Ramchandra, especially the person who's trying to become a devotee, who wants to create who regain his lost relationship with Sri Krishna. Whoever wants to do that, they have to follow the footsteps of Ramchandra. The very first quality of Lord Ramchandra is he's very simple, very sublime, very simple. And that could be seen, just by the time of his appearance. Lord Ramchandra appeared at noon. Very simple, noon time, no problem. When did Sri Krishna appear? Midnight. The acharyas write that one day some devotees were complaining to Krishna that, why are you appearing so much late at night, 12 o'clock? Why did you choose to do that? Because now we have to be up till late night. And I'll tell you, Janmashtami is the toughest 2 days in the whole year's calendar, because Krishna appeared at midnight. So there is midnight arti. After the arti, there's prasadam, then clean up, and then next day, Prabhupada's appearance day. So the devotees hardly get to sleep at all on the night of Janmashtami. So they, kind of sometimes complain that, why, you could have appeared at, Lord Ramchandra appeared at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Why did he choose to appear at night? So Sri Krishna, the Acharya's right, explains that Lord Ramchandra is Rajadiraj. He's the king of kings. He's very accessible. He wants to appear and give darshan to everybody. Sri Ramchandra is Rajadiraj. Right? He has nothing to hide. He always comes during the daytime, and he gives darshan to everybody. He likes to give darshan to every three. While I am Makanchor, I'm a thief. Have you ever seen a thief who comes in the daylight? A thief always comes at night. Therefore, I chose to come at night. So, see, Krishna Leelas, right from the birth, is very complicated. They say that one should act as Lord Ramchandra has acted. One should uh, understand the pastimes of Lord Ramchandra and try to imitate them in our life, try to act just like Lord Ramchandra. But one should just understand and relish the pastimes of Krishna. One cannot imitate. One cannot imitate the pastimes of Krishna. Krishna's pastime since birth is very complicated, not easy to follow. Lord Ramchandra's pastimes, very simple. Actually, the way the word Ram is written in Hindi or Sanskrit, very simple. Ram, very easy to read. The letters in the word Ram is also very simple. While the letters in the word Krishna, the ka is like this, then there is sha, then there is one half, and then there is ana. All letters are very complicated. If a child is learning how to write the Hindi or Sanskrit alphabet, to write ra and to write ma, very simple. To write ka, then kri, then sha, and ana, very complicated. Even the name is very complicated for Krishna. For Ramchandra, it's very simple. All the pastimes of Lord Ramchandra is there to teach this human society. It's a teaching to human society. He did not come to kill Ravana. This says Paritranaya Sadhunam Vinashaya Chandraskrita. But Lord Ramchandra did not come with the Udesha to kill Ravana. And Ravana he can just kill by just thinking about killing him. He can do that easily. He doesn't have to come here. He doesn't have to get Mother Sita kidnapped in order to kill Lord Ram, in order to kill Ravana. But he came here to set an example how a devotee should behave. How a devotee should behave. One becomes able to understand Srimad Bhagavatam when they understand the pastimes of Lord Ramchandra and they try to live a simple, duty-bound life just like Ramchandra. The Vakta, the speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam, and the Srota, the whoever listens to Srimad Bhagavatam, they have to imbibe the qualities of Lord Ramchandra. When they do that, then they are able to narrate Srimad Bhagavatam properly and they are able to understand Srimad Bhagavatam properly. This is what the Acharyas write about why Lord Ramchandra is placed in Srimad Bhagavatam at a very crucial juncture when the pastimes of Krishna is to be narrated. Sri Ramchandra always follows Maryada, always stays within his Maryada, always is bound by the duty. One cannot enter into Krishna's pastimes before inculcating the discipline of Lord Ramchandra, before inculcating within his life the zeal, the discipline to discharge one's duty as a disciple, duty as a father, duty as a son, duty as a husband, duty as a wife, duty as whatever is the duty. Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, whatever you belong. That duty one has to discharge properly. Srimad Bhagavad Gita says that Bhagavan Krishna is more favorable to the person who is discharging his duty little faultily versus the person who is discharging somebody else's duty. I know so many devotees who say, they are married, they're grihastha, and then they say, oh man, I should not have been a grihastha, I should be a brahmachari. And then they try to live like a brahmachari while being a grihastha. We are a grihastha, we should execute the duty of a grihastha. Cannot live in a grihastha life and execute the duty of a brahmachari. Srila Prabhupada used to say that the grihastha himself, his duties are so exalted that when the grihasthas discharge the duties of being a grihastha, they are on the equal platform of a brahmachari who's discharging his duties as a brahmachari properly. So when one is able to follow his duties properly, discharge them properly, practice the spiritual life in the disciplined way, just like Lord Ramchandra followed his life in a very disciplined way, that is when he or she becomes eligible uh, to enter into the Krishna Lila, understand Krishna Lila. That is when he or she is able, becomes eligible to slay the Ravan within the heart, or to understand the Ras Lila, which is the heart of Krishna Lila. One cannot enter into Ras Lila without inculcating the discipline of Lord Ramchandra, without understanding properly the characteristics and the pastimes of Lord Ramchandra. His pastimes are very simple, very simple. He's just, but very hard to follow. One has to understand. One has to understand from the devotees who has understood them. His pastimes are very simple, but very sublime. But then, in order to execute that, we have to give over 100%. We cannot hold back. Um, the devotees who offer bhoga to Thakurji, they recite this sloka, Go Brahman Hitaya Cha. So Krishna is Go Brahman Hitaya Cha. Go is cows, Brahman is the Brahman, and he's Hitaya Cha, he's loving towards them. You can see that Lord Krishna is loving towards Sudama. When Sudama came, Bhagavan ran. Krishna ran from his palace, and he brought Sudama inside, and he made him sit on his throne, and he brought him into his bedroom and made him sit on his throne. And Mother Rukmini is washing his feet. Krishna is washing his feet. That's how much he loves Brahmin. But the same Krishna on Kurukshetra, Dronacharya was also a Brahmin, and he was ruthless uh, towards Dronacharya. Actually, he helped Arjun slay Dronacharya. Right? So the same Ramchandra cannot have that kind of behavior. Ramchandra is simple. Simple, whether he is in front of sadhu or he is in front of asadhu. Ramchandra is simple. It is noted that even when Lord Ramchandra was fighting with Ravan, he was compassionate towards Ravan. He was loving towards Ravan. One day, he destroyed Ravan completely. He hurt him so much by his arrows. His Sarthi, the charioteer, was destroyed. He was killed. He was slayed. His Rath was broken. All his weapons, Dhanusha, etc., were broken. And Ravan was totally exhausted. And Ramchandra just stopped the war. And he says, let's just stop the battle for today. Why don't you go home? You're very tired. You're very thirsty. You're very hungry. Relax. Eat some. Take care of yourself. Come back tomorrow, or come back some other day when you feel you're rejuvenated, and we can find. And he did not do that to make Ravan look small or anything. He did that just out of compassion for Ravan. When Ravan saw the simple nature of Lord Ramchandra, his heart became soft. He was he was cursing himself. Why did I have to do this? Why did I think that he's my enemy? Hmm? The goodness from Lord Ramchandra overcame Ravan, and he was thinking, why should I be fighting with this personality? So this is the nature of Bhagavan Ramchandra. Bhagavan Ramchandra is very simple. One should create that kind of simple nature within our heart. If our heart is simple, that is when Lord Krishna can recite, or Lord Ramchandra can recite, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead can recite very easily. But if the heart is duplicitous, we have a cheating propensity, we have a lying propensity. And even after following Krishna consciousness, this propensity stays within us very subtly. We don't do gross cheating and gross lying, right? But we there is subtle ways that the devotees do this. For example, by portraying oneself to be a great devotee or a better devotee than other person, and so on. I'm just giving an example. One has to be non-duplicitous in front of other devotees. One has to be non-cheating, not lying in front of other devotees. Very simple. In front of, when we approach Sri Krishna, when we approach him in the temple, in front of the deities, we have to be non-duplicitous. We have to be same inside out when we take his darshan. Non-duplicitous. In that kind of heart, the Lord resides. It is written in Sri Ramcharitmanas that about Lord Ramchandra, that Prabhu Tarutar Kapi Darpar. Prabhu Tarutar Kapi Darpar. Prabhu means Lord Ramchandra. Sri Ramchandra is so simple that he is Taru Tar. Taru means a tree. Taru Tar means he's under the tree. He's sitting on the floor under the tree. And Kapi Darpar. And all the monkeys who are servants of Lord Ramchandra, they are sitting on the branches. Where will you see a master who's sitting at a lower position and a servant is being asked to sit at a higher position? But this is the simplicity of Lord Ramchandra. Prabhu, Tarutar, and the Vanar, Darpar, Kapi Darpar. So, and not only that they are sitting, they are jumping up and down. They are, taking this, doing this, eating this, throwing this, and the master is sitting at the bottom. Not only that, Lord Ramchandra was so grateful towards the monkeys that when he came back to Ayodhya and when the Rajyabhishek was going on, he told Vasishtha Maharaj that, you see all these monkeys, it is just by their mercy I was able to bring back Mother Sita and win over Ravan. Otherwise, there was no way I could have done that. No way I could. And it's not that he was just saying, just like we say somebody, oh, Prabhu, I have seen you, now my life has become successful. He was not saying duplicitously like that. He was saying it from his heart. He meant it. Lord Ramchandra will keep the smallest gratitude ever. Do we know that Lord Ramchandra, when his Rajyabhishek was going on, he was looking here and there. So Mother Sita is asking them, my Prabhu, whom are you looking for? And he's saying, I don't see Kevat anywhere. Like it was Kevat is, and he's looking for Kevat. And Maya is saying, why are you looking for Kevat? And Lord Ramchandra said, do you remember how much merciful he was towards us? When we left Ayodhya, he helped us cross Mother Ganga. And when we came back, he again helped us. And when we tried to give him something in the return, he says, whenever you're coronated as king, give me something at that time. And now I am coronated as king and he's not here to take something from me. I feel so much heavy in my heart. This is Lord Ramchandra. He does not forget a simple act of help which is given by somebody. This is the nature of a devotee. A devotee should never, ever forget a smallest help which is given by anybody. One should have gratitude, the attitude of gratitude, they say, in the life. And with that attitude, one should approach each and every devotee. And when we have that kind of heart, where we have the attitude of gratitude, this small, subtle characteristics of gratitude, then this bhakti is able to blossom in that environment. Otherwise, it's very hard for bhakti to blossom. And we may be able to inculcate or remember all the slokas, and we may be able to speak eloquently about Krishna Katha and the pastimes of Krishna and everything. It becomes very hard to really cherish the pastimes of Sri Shyam Sundar from 10th canto, unless we have this heart just like Ramchandra. That is why Sri Ram Katha was was put right before Krishna Kila. And the Acharyas explain, the Acharyas explain that Sri Ramchandra chose to appear in a city called Ayodhya. So the meaning of Ayodhya, is a place, Yodhyana Bhavati iti Ayodhya. Yodhana Bhavati, Yuddhana Bhavati. Yodhya. Yodhyana Bhavati iti Ayodhya. A place where there has been no battle fought is called Ayodhya. Where there has been no conflicts, no battle fought is called Ayodhya. Sri Ramchandra, the Acharyas say, appear in a heart where there is no conflict. Sri Ramchandra appears in a house where there is no conflict. A house where there is conflict, left and right, left and right, left and right. It's very difficult for the Supreme Personality of Godhead to appear there. Just imagine if you are a guest, you go to somebody's house and there is constant conflict in the house. Will you feel very comfortable living in that house? Even though the conflict is not due to you, there's a lot of still conflict going on, right? You feel uncomfortable as a guest being in that environment. When you go as a guest to somebody's place, you want to be in an environment where there is happiness, love flowing in the air. But if there is the air of conflict, there is, behind the doors, there is, conflict going on, then you don't feel very comfortable being in that place. If just a lowly person like me, is not very comfortable in such environment, how can the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who's used to being in the perfect place, in the company of perfect devotees, how will he or she feel? Right? Can Radharani stay in that environment? Can the gopis stay in that environment? Can the acharyas stay in that environment? Very hard to stay in that environment. And another thing is, Ayodhya, just like Prabhuji, the picture Prabhuji has, I'm thinking this is the picture of Ayodhya. I've never been to Ayodhya. But Ayodhya is on the banks of Saryu, the river Saryu. Saryu is the incarnation of bhakti. So the Acharyas write that whoever stays close to on the banks of the bhakti, they can meet Lord Ramchandra, or Ramchandra appears on the banks of the river of the bhakti. So whenever we need to always make sure that we are connected to the banks of the river of bhakti. And it's not that whenever we listen to Krishna Katha, that's the only time we will be in the mood of bhakti. Once it is done, the gears change and we become somebody else. 24/7, we have to create a lifestyle. Krishna consciousness is a lifestyle. We have to create a lifestyle which ensures we are always on the banks of Saryu, the river Saryu. Because only on the banks of river Saryu is Ayodhya, and only in Ayodhya is Lord Ramchandra. And Ramchandra appears to the personality who is Dasrath. Who is Dasrath? Dasrath means one who is able to control the 10 chariots, or one who is able to control 5 Gyanendriya and 5 Karmendriya. There are 10 Indriya. And those 10 Indriyas are driving the chariots of your life. And if the person, the soul, is the master of this Indri, of the senses. It's not that the soul is the slave of the senses. The soul should be, having the reins of those chariots in his hand. If those Indriya, or those senses, they all run in different directions, and the master's role is to control them and keep them in the right direction, the way the master wants. So a person who is able to control his senses or her senses properly is the person who can have Lord Ramchandra appear in his life, in his heart, in his house. So this is why the pastimes of Lord Ramchandra are placed right before the pastimes of Lord Shri Krishna and Srimad Bhagavatam. Maharaj Dasrath had many wives, Kaushalya, Sumitra, and Mother Kaikai. And after many years of marriage, he was not able to have any child. So he was very disturbed because of that. So he asked his Guru Maharaj, Vasishtha Maharaj, that what can I do? So Vasishtha Maharaj requested him to do a Putra Kameshti Yagna. And Putra Kameshti means Putra is son, Kama Ishti. Kama means desire, Ishti is to fulfill the desire. So the Yagna which will fulfill the desire of obtaining a son is called Putra Kameshti Yagna. So that Yagna was done very successfully. And as the prasad of the Yagna, right, there was some payasam that was brought. And the Yagna has, has flames. So that is Agni Dev, who's the main deity of the Yagna. And everything is offered to Agni Dev, and Agni Dev then distributes those offerings to whoever this offering has to go. At the end of the Yagna, Agni Dev appeared, and he had a pot of payasam and like kheer. And he says, Maharaj, this kheer will bless you with very beautiful children. So Dashrath Maharaj asked Vasishtha Muni, how can I distribute this kheer or this payasam amongst my queens? So Vasishtha Muni said that, look, Mother Kaushalya is your principal queen. So you should let her decide how she wants to do it. You should just give it to her, and you should let her decide how she wants to distribute. So when so Raja Dasrath asked Mother Kaushalya, how do you want this to be distributed? So Mother Kaushalya said that let Guru Maharaj decide however this should be distributed. So Guru Maharaj said, why don't you do this? You can create one half of that, give it to Mother Kaushalya. The other half, you make two parts, and you give one part to Kaikai and one part to Sumitra. So when this was done, the way it happened is Kaushalya got her part, Mother Sumitra got her part, and then Mother Kaikai got her part. When Mother Kaikai got her part, she was very angry at Maharaj Dasrath. She was very angry because she did not get the equal part. That's number one. Number two, she said, I was given the part at the end. Why did you give me the part at the end? That means I was not on your priority list. You did not give me first. Whenever, and the acharyas, they comment in their tika, that Mother Kaikai was very proud of her beauty. She was very beautiful. And she was very proud of her beauty. Because she had pride in her life, the pride creates room for offenses. Ahankar. Ahankar or Ghamand, it creates room for offenses. That is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, who can chant the holy name of the Lord without offense? Without offense. The qualities of a person who can chant the holy name of the Lord without offense is Trinad api sunichena taror iva shahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. One should amanina manadena. One should not expect any respect for oneself and should give all respect to others. In that situation, one will not commit any offenses, and he or she will be able to chant the holy name in a very proper way. When will somebody not expect any respect for oneself? If one thinks that if he is very qualified or she is very qualified, like Mother Kaikai thought that she is very beautiful, therefore she is very qualified. She should be the most dear to the queen, to the king. So if one thinks that one has some qualification, the knowledge of that qualification will create pride. When one has pride, one will expect respect against that pride, because the pride will make us demand respect. And when we expect respect, there will be offenses made. There will be offenses made. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Amanina manadena. One should not expect any respect. Only person who will not expect any respect will be the one who is inside, has no pride or ahankar within his heart. His ahankar has been defeated. He's thinking, what qualities I have. I know little bit Bhagavad Gita. I know little bit Srimad Bhagavatam. I know some slok. That too, by the mercy of the acharyas and my spiritual master and other devotees, I have learned it. I have never learned all this thing on my own anyway. I could not have anyway. I know just a very little. There are so many people who know a lot many things than me. I should not be proud of what I know. So when we let go of pride, we then automatically let go of respect. Mother Kaikai had this pride in her. Because she had this pride, she did not cherish the prasadam which was given by Agnidev. So while she was thinking like that, a bird came, and the bird snatched the payasam from her hand and ran away. When the payasam was lost, Mother Kaikai started, crying, because once that thing is gone, suddenly, we feel that, oh my God, in my pride, I have lost so much. Then we start regretting that situation. Actually, this bird who snatched the payasam flew to the Kiskinda mountain, and there Mother Anjani was uh, lost in meditation. She was trying to meditate uh, on Lord Shiva to get a child by the mercy of Lord Shiva. When she was meditating, this bird was flying, and she left that payasam, and it fell in her lap. When it fell in her lap, she just woke up, and she thought that Lord Shiva blessed her with this payasam. She drank the payasam, and Lord Hanuman Dev appeared through Mother Anjani by the mercy of that payasam. Now on this side, Mother Kaikai lost the payasam. So again, Ma Kaushalya was approached. So what she did is she took half portion of her payasam and she gave it to Kaikai. And Mother Sumitra took a portion of her payasam and she gave to Kaikai. By the result of this, 4 princes appeared to Maharaj Dashrath. Mother Kaikai, who had 2 different portions of payasam, gave birth to Bharat Maharaj and Shatrughna Maharaj. Mother Sumitra gave birth to Lakshmanji, and Lord Ramchandra appeared to Kaushalyaji. It is written in the scriptures that Lakshman Maharaj, Bharat Maharaj, and Shatrughna Maharaj, they had entered into the wombs of Mother Sumitra and Mother Kaikai, and they stayed in her womb, and then they appeared after a due course of time. Lord Ramchandra just appeared through the heart of Maharaj Dashrath, went into the womb of Mother Kausalya, just sanctified the womb, and he appeared in a 4-handed form, just right in front of Mother Kausalya. This is how he appeared. And it is said that he appeared in the 4-handed form because he wanted to show that whoever worships me, I am going to protect them in all the 4 directions. They don't have to worry about anything. When Ramchandra appeared on the Navami, on the 8th day of Chaitra, when Dashrath Maharaj was sleeping right before he woke up on the Navami. So on the night of the 8th, when Dashrath Maharaj was sleeping, in his sleep he had a dream. In the dream, he saw that a very wonderful personality who had eyes as a lotus, feet as lotus, hands as lotus, and that personality is in his temple room, and in his standing as a vigraha or swarupa or as a deity, and Maharaj Dashrath is worshipping that personality. That personality is not different than Bhagavan Vishnu. And Maharaj Dasrath is doing Abhishek, then he's giving him bath by Panchamrit, then he's giving him a nice shower, cleaning him up, putting nice clothes, nice perfume, then he's doing Arti and offering nice boga. And after doing that, he just wakes up. When he wakes up, he's able to remember this whole dream. So he goes to Maharaj Vasishta and he says that, Guru Maharaj, I had such and such nice dream. And Maharaj Vasishta at that time was doing his puja. So he had a beautiful deity in his temple room. And Dashrath Maharaj says, the personality whom I worshipped in my dream was exactly looking like this personality in your temple. So Maharaj Vasishta said that, because of you have this wonderful dream, I am thinking that you will have the Supreme Personality of Godhead appear as your son. So Maharaj Dasrath says, when will my dream be fulfilled? And Vasishta Maharaj says, it's very hard to say, because Lord Ramchandra is controller of time. Time cannot control Lord Ramchandra. So he will appear whenever he wishes. But by his own mercy, the very same day at noon, Bhagavan Ramchandra appeared. When Bhagavan Ramchandra appeared, Ma Kaushalya was so happy. The nurse who was trying to serve Mother Kaushalya, she gave all the ornaments that Mother Kaushalya was wearing, but she did not take the ornaments. So Mother Kaushalya thought that, Dashrath Maharaj did not have a child for a long time. Now we have a child, and I'm giving her my ornaments, but she wants a lot more than that. So she said, tell me what you want, and I'll give you as much as you want. I'm very happy. So the lady says that, if you want to give me something, why don't you put your baby in my lap and let me play with your baby for some time? And that's it, all I want. I don't want anything else. So Bhagavan Ramchandra, when he sat in the lap of the Daima, she became so happy and so ecstatic that since many, many, many lifetimes, I had lost my connection with you, my Lord. But now I'm able to reawaken that connection, right? Do not let me go any time in this lifetime anymore. Take me home back to Godhead. Lord Ramchandra really, really, was, in Hindi, we used to say, Yaro ka yar, he was the best friend you could have, a best son you could have, a best father you can have, a best husband you can have, a best disciple you can have. And that Lord Ramchandra discharged his duty very well. And at the end, he took the whole Ayodhya with him. And he transferred the whole Ayodhya along with him to into the spiritual world. So today is the appearance day of that Lord Ramchandra. We should be very grateful that we have taken birth in a country. I'm thinking most of us took birth in a country in India where Lord Ramchandra appeared. We didn't have to do anything special to learn about Lord Ramchandra. I mean, as I'm sometimes feeling, if you try to think, what book did you read, or what special thing that we did in order to understand the concept of karma, reincarnation, to know about Bhagavad Gita, to know about Lord Ramchandra, I don't think you will be able to find anything. Right? This somehow was in the air. Yeah? And it was, probably it's in the Indian DNA, or it's in the air, or something or other. It just permeated into us. It's so easy to understand all the concepts of Vedic Krishna consciousness. Right? Very easy. Yeah? Even this person who has not even picked up the book in his whole life, very easy for that person to understand the complicated theory of karma, the complicated theory of reincarnation, to understand the pastimes of Lord Ramchandra and Lord Krishna and so on. And the gratitude, the qualities which are exhibited in the pastimes of Lord Ramchandra, most of the people, they try to inculcate that qualities. It just automatically this happens. This is we are so fortunate that we were born in that situation. Now we have to utilize what we got unknowingly, and we have to utilize in a way that it really, really helps us and benefits us, and it helps us propel forward in Krishna consciousness, in the path of bhakti, in the path of reawakening our lost relationship with Krishna. We have this on Saturday morning. We have probably hour or hour and a half katha, and we do katha from a book called Bhaktamal. It is about pastimes of different devotees, and there the devotees from US also joins, devotees from other countries also join. And there was one devotee last time. Is it last time or the time before? I think it was the time before, not this Saturday, but the Saturday before. After the katha was over, we were just chatting, and that devotee from India asked me, "Prabhu, can I ask you a question? My mother was an ardent devotee of Lord Ramchandra, and therefore, well, I was told," he says, "that my grandmother, when she was passing away, she uttered the name of Lord Ramchandra and she passed away. So she would have gone to Lord Ramchandra's abode in the spiritual world. Are you sure? Can you confirm?" I said, Bhagavan Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that whatever is your consciousness when we leave our body, and if we are able to utter the holy name of Lord, then definitely our consciousness was in the right place. So I'm pretty sure she must have gone in the abode of Lord Ramchandra. So then he was a little hesitant and he said, "Can I ask you a question? Kya wo ghate mein gayi?" I said, "Did she go in a loss?" I said, "Why do you say that?" And he says, "We have been told that Golok Vrindavan is the topmost spiritual abode, and Lord Krishna's abode is the topmost. And she went to Lord Ramchandra's abode. So did she get in a loss? She should have gone to Krishna's." And at that time it hit me that we are creating so many dividers even between the Supreme Personality of Godhead's different forms and different expansions, right? That we think Ram is less superior than Krishna, and many other things that our mind thinks. Here the Acharyas try to teach us, do not, even though you are trying to inculcate Lord Krishna's devotion towards Lord Krishna, please do not ignore the qualities of Lord Ramchandra. We should try to inculcate the qualities of Lord Ramchandra. Maybe that was the reason why before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra was chanted as Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and he reversed the mantra. This is not written in any Shastra. This is not written in any Tika. I never heard it from any devotee. This is just a thought that came to my mind as I was speaking. So it has probably, mostly no value. But Lord Ramchandra's name was present even in the Mahamantra at first. It's kind of to indicate that one has to really, really become very disciplined in our spiritual life. One has to become very devoted in our spiritual life. One has to be very devoted in this lifetime. Discharge our duties as a son, duties as a husband, for the Mataji's duties as a wife, duty as a daughter, duty as a mother, duty as whatever other duties we have. We have to discharge them very honestly and try to execute Krishna consciousness in the most disciplined way. Unless we are not disciplined about Krishna consciousness, it is very hard to progress on the path of Krishna consciousness. We cannot just chant the holy name whenever we want to, even though there is no rules and regulations. But if that is the most important thing in our life, then we should try to carve out the most best available time in our life for that. We have to arrange our 24 hours in a way that we can give the best time out of that 24 hour to chanting of the holy name of Krishna. Not, we have to arrange the time of day that when our body is in the best state, when our mind is in the best state, we have to give the best, our best mind, our best calm senses. Whenever it is in the best, state of existence, that's when we have to chant the holy name, because we want to give the best to the holy name. Not that we will do everything else first, and then whenever we have find, we'll sneak in one mala there, sneak in another mala here, sneak in one mala there. Prabhupada has mercifully given us a counter, so the counter will keep the count. And then some advanced souls, they have this clicker, and that even divides the jap mala further, and the clicker has a counter. So 108, we stop at 44, stop at 66, stop at 101. Oh, 109, all right, one mala is done. So sometimes we don't even know when one mala is over and the second mala starts. So all these things, it makes me feel that sometimes we are like that child who got something very precious, but we have no value of it. So we just play with it. And we are very careless about it. And we just use it the way we, in an improper way. There was this small story where the Guru Maharaj was trying to show the importance of a holy name. And he gave a diamond to his disciple, and he says, can you go and sell this at the highest price? So he went to, a person who was selling vegetables. And the guy said, oh, nice, shiny thing. I'll give you 2 kilo sabji. He says, no, I don't want. Then he goes to some other place and he says, oh, nice, I can give you, 10 meters of cloth. So similarly, he keeps going to different people, and according to their own intelligence, they were using it, right? When he went to a real jeweler, when he saw what this is, he says, my God, you've been roaming around whole day with this thing in your pocket. It has become so dirty. A lot of people have touched it with his dirty hand. So he takes it, he cleans it nicely, puts it in a soft yellow cloth, and he says, how much money you want, sir? I can give you. And he then made a big sum of money. He said, I can give you this much. And then he very carefully took it and placed it somewhere in a safe situation. So the person who understands the value of the thing will take care of it properly. He will make sure it is very clean. If you look at our jap mala, we'll figure out how much we value. The jap mala hasn't been washed in 3 years, probably. And we put it on the floor, we put it here, we put it there. Our hands, doing this, putting in the mouth, touching here, touching there, and we again go back and chant. Understand, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says there is no niyam, there is no rules and regulation. But he says that in order to attract everybody to chant the holy name. But that's not the final end game. Final end game is one should know the value of what we have. I remember the days when we used to go enter into computer room, we would take off our shoes and we would only touch it with, something, very carefully, no dust, AC on, for a computer. Now it looks so funny, right? But we thought that was so valuable. If holy name is so valuable, the jap mala, which is made up of Tulsi Maharani, is so valuable. Why can't we just clean our hands? And honestly, if we just wash our face, clean our hands, or take a quick shower and then sit down to chant, the whole consciousness is different. If we wear crippled up, unwashed clothes and chant Hare Krishna, no offense, it's fine because there is no regulation. But if we wear nice washed clothes and nice tilak, and then we chant Hare Krishna, after that, a very different consciousness. So the thing which is very important in our life, we should be very disciplined. Lord Ramchandra teaches the value of discipline, teaches the value of executing our duty in a proper way, being a disciple. If we are a good disciple, but if we are not a good son to our parents, it hurts our bhakti. Because Krishna says, you've never seen me. You might see your Guru Maharaj a few times, or you may be running to see your Guru Maharaj every other day, but your parents who gave you this human birth, which is enabling you to do bhakti, your parents who taught you how to read, how to write, how to walk, how to think, how to do this, you're neglectful toward them. You don't have any gratitude in your life. One of my cousin brother once told me, what did my parents ever do to me? How much they spent on me? He said that. And I was surprised I heard that. I had only read those things in books. I never knew that somebody could actually say those things. And he said it to me. I can't forget. How can you weigh this gratitude? If we don't have gratitude towards the person who gave us birth, who made us what we are today, how will Krishna trust us that we will have gratitude for him? Or when we tell him, oh my dear Lord Krishna, you are my everything, how can Krishna trust that? When he sees that the person you can see and feel and look at on a daily basis, you're neglecting that person. How will you love me, whom you have never seen, only heard about, don't even know whether I exist or not? The holy name is none different than Krishna himself. We all know that. Isn't that true? The way we treat our Japmala, isn't Japmala like a deity of holy name? It's here, sometime there, sometimes you have to look for it. Where it is, no idea. Sometimes it falls down on the road. Sometimes when we do Dhanvat, it goes on the floor. All this discipline, very much needed. Lord Ramchandra's example is exemplary. He sets a standard. He sets a standard. It may be very hard for us to follow the standard 100%, but I think we have to make a conscious effort to follow the standard to the best we can. When we make that conscious effort, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that for my devotees, whatever they lack, I give them, and whatever they have, I will protect. So by making a sincere endeavor in that direction, even after that we are still lacking, no problem. Krishna will, suffice what we are lacking. But Krishna will not suffice what we are lacking if we don't make any attempts. Our son is trying to do some math examples. And he's working hard, working hard, erasing. He comes for help, we will be more than happy to help. But every day he doesn't even attempt to do anything. He just looks at the example and comes saying, can you do this for me? After 1 or 2 days, we'll say, stop, I'm not doing this for you. You need to work hard at it. After you cannot solve it, that's when I will do it. If a simple parent thinks like that towards his child, and that is only for the child's well-being, why would Krishna not think in that way? Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana pariyupasate tesam nityabhiyuktanam yoga kshema vahamiyam. Vahami means I will manage. I will manage for them. Yoga kshema. Yoga kshema means, shema means to protect. And yoga means what you need to live happily. I'll give you that. Yoga kshema vahamiyam. But for whom? Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana pariyupasate. One who is with a lot of effort, is trying to come towards me, making a conscious effort. So we have to, all these wonderful days that come again and again in our lifetime, we take some lessons. and write down those lessons. And whatever great things that I'm trying to speak, I myself am failing to do more than 99% of it. But the intention, I hope, is to do the right thing. We keep failing, wake up again next day, again try to do it. Again fail, wake up again next day, again try to do it. It will happen. Krishna will help. There is Pandurang Athavale Sastri. What was the movement he started? I forgot the name. It's more in Gujarat, but he was from Maharashtra, and there are many temples.
Swadhyay movement.
Swadhyay. So they have a calendar. Most of the people who follow Swadhyay, they have a small calendar in their house, and there are some lines from Bhagavad Gita in that calendar. One of the line is Kam karto ja, haak marto ja, madad agar chhe. Kam karto ja, haak marto. It was in Gujarati. They're saying, keep working hard and keep calling for help. The help is very close. But what was that requirement? Keep working hard, keep calling for help wherever you are not able to. So we have to, some of us may have 20 years left in our life. Some of us may have 60 years left in our life. Some of us may have 10 years left in our life. And out of that 10, 8 hours will go in sleeping. 8 hours will go for work. 2 hours will go for internet and so on. And we hardly have 2 hours left per day, multiplied by 365, multiplied by 10 years, 20 years, whatever's we left. Only that much little time we have left. And if in that time we choose not to be disciplined, then Krishna will also think, is this person really serious? Should I allocate my time to this person, or should I move to somebody else? So I'm not trying to paint a ugly picture. What I'm trying to just say is, I'm just trying to tell myself that I need to be more serious and treat this opportunity that has been given to us by Srila Prabhupada, by the other devotees, and by the arrangement of Lord Ramchandra, Lord Krishna. Let's make the best out of this bargain. And I'll be very honest, till 6 o'clock, I had no idea what we will talk about today. I was thinking Sri Ramachandra Kruparu Bhajman, maybe we can recite that and we can explain, and then we'll talk about some pastimes. But then just thinking about Srimad Bhagavatam, I was looking in this thing, I read some commentary and I thought this is very nice to share. So I think Krishna was trying to teach me that way, that you need to buckle up. I just wanted to share what Shyam Sundar was sharing with me just some time back. So Hare Krishna, Bhagwan Ramachandra ki jai.
Jai.
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya cha patithanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for such a wonderful Ram Katha. And especially, as always, whenever we hear from you, this Katha is filled with so many teachings for us, so much practical applications.
Whatever I said was nothing from my side. Wonderful book called Bhagavad Navneet.
Yeah.
Okay. This is the book. Dongreji Maharaj used to do Bhagavad Katha. Whatever he recited on the request of Bhaiji Hanuman Prasad Poddar was transcribed in this book. I only read this book and I just shared with you what I read. Nothing in here is
Yeah, Prabhuji, reading book is a different thing, and hearing in a proper way so that we can understand it is totally different thing. So it's always, all devotees, I'm sure they were eager to hear from you. I will just repeat few points because this is just for me, from what you said, for our bhakti to blossom, few things that I noted down, whatever I could gather from so many things you said. Simplicity, attitude of gratitude towards anyone who helped us. It could be our
especially
parents.
in bhakti.
Yes, in bhakti, anyone who brought us to bhakti, our parents who gave us this human body, which can be utilized for this bhakti. Just like you mentioned, beautiful example of that Lord Ram remembered Kevat even when he was getting Rajabhishek, for his seva. Compassion, love, connect. We should always be connected to the banks of bhakti, not just occasionally. And Sri Ram, Krishna appears to a person who has controlled all his 10 senses, like Dasharath Maharaj. One should chant Harinam only in the true state of humility. When one can chant this Harinam properly, then we are truly humble, without considering ourselves qualified for anything or deserving of anything. Value of discipline, value of fulfilling our duties as a disciple, son, brother, friend, even as a master. Treating Japmala shows our sincerity in our spiritual life, in our Harinam and discipline. We should give Japa as the top priority. We should give it the best of our day, best time of our day, which is morning. Yogshemam Vahamayam. Keep working hard, keep calling for help. Help is just around the corner. So we should be always in the association of devotees. Without them, without proper association, I always use proper with underline, association of devotees. Hardly any time is left. Wake up call for all of us. And Krishna is supremely intelligent. Lord Ram is very, very intelligent. He may be simple, but he is very, very intelligent. He knows what we are up to. Really serious or something else going on. So thank you so much, Muni, for wonderful points. Any questions any devotee has, or any comments, any additions anyone would like to make?
Don't call this speaker from next time. That would be one comment.
Yeah, while others are thinking, one beautiful thing that I heard in one of the katha today is, like when you were talking about the simplicity, even all the eternal associates of Lord Ram who came with him, Shatrughan, Lakshman, Bharat, they were also such beautiful pastimes. One that I really got very, very attracted to today was how when there was a pastime when Lakshman wanted to see Lord Ram again and again. He was so attracted to Lord Ram's face that he thought of, he just wanted to keep looking at him. And then suddenly he realized, no, if I keep looking to him, I will get attached to him. And that is not my position. My position is Dasanudas. So he started looking at his feet only. So it was a beautiful pastime, like how we should try to be Dasanudas, servant of the servant.
Let me add to that. You know why Lakshman Maharaj thought like that? When the queens of Dashrath Maharaj was pregnant, Vasishtha Maharaj asked Dashrath Maharaj to go and gift something to the queens, whatever they want. So when Dashrath Maharaj went to Mother Sumitra said, I don't want anything. I just want to serve Mother Kausalya, like her servant. And Maharaj Dashrath, you have made a separate palace for me. I don't want that palace either. Can you just allow me to stay in the palace of Mother Kausalya? I just want to become the servant of her servant and to serve her this way. The mood of Mother Sumitra came into Lakshman Maharaj.
Yeah. So, okay, any questions? Anything anyone would like to say? Or at least we can unmute ourselves, say Hari Bol once. If no other question. Just to prove we are awake.
That's okay.
Okay. So, Prabhuji, if you allow and if we have time a little bit for you, would you like to also sing the bhajan you were talking about? It's a beautiful bhajan. Shri Ram Chandra. Okay. I will share it. Actually, Swan Garang Prabhuji sent it to me, so let me open it.
Prabhuji, I have one question.
Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Actually, I have a question like Bhagwan Ram, who was there. So he was the one like who used to always listen to his mother, and then he used to do his work. But Bhagwan Krishna was the one who used to like never ask, like if we see like Bhagwan Krishna, he was like the one who can go anywhere in the home and take the makhan. So he was that way, right? So what is the big difference between both of them? Like why the Bhagwan takes such decisions? Like for the one decision where he was the one who used to always listen to his mother or all the rules he was having, and then when he was a Krishna, he used to have the way like he can go anywhere, he can have some makhan, or like
Very good question. So why this difference in personality? Very nicely explained in Sri Garga Samhita. Lord Ramchandra, he stayed in Maryada all the time. And there were a lot of internal desires that Mother Kaushalya had, Mother Sumitra had, Ma Sita had. There are so many other associates of Lord Ramchandra. They had a lot of desires towards Lord Ramchandra. There is a whole chapter, not one chapter, there are many chapters in Garg Samhita, which explains how the different gopis in Krishna Lila, where they came from. So there were rishis of Dandakaranya, for example. When they saw Lord Ramchandra, they really, really fell in love with Lord Ramchandra. And they wanted to serve Lord Ramchandra in many ways. But Lord Ramchandra was always keeping a distance. I'm your servant. I'm a hermit. You are exalted Rishimunis, and I'll always serve you. You cannot do this to me. You cannot do. So all their desires in their heart remain unfulfilled. But they were intense desire. And so in order to fulfill those intense desire, when Krishna came, he says, this time I'm going to fulfill everybody's desire. As a matter of fact, Surdasji Maharaj also writes about this, that, even though Mother Yashoda and the gopis and others were very angry at Krishna for doing mischief, in their heart, they desired that Krishna would do this mischief. Especially when once Krishna was fighting with Mother Yashoda, and Mother Yashoda was trying to give him milk and all this thing. And he was saying, why you always give me milk? I don't want to drink milk. Give me makhan, give me chapati, and put a lot of makhan on chapati. I want to. And Mother Yashoda says, no, you first drink milk, you do this. And Krishna is fighting with her. One gopi, the gopis used to come to see Mother Yashoda all the time because they wanted to see Krishna. So one gopi was standing outside and she heard this. She was thinking, what kind of person this Yashoda is? Kana wants makhan and she has so much makhan. Why is she not giving? I wish Kana comes and asks me for makhan. And then she was thinking, you know what? Not just that. I wish Kana comes one day and steals makhan while I'm hiding in my place and watching him steal makhan. So Krishna, that's the first time Krishna did makhan chori, right? Sudaji says that Krishna is Antaryami, he's sitting in everybody's heart. He understood the desire of the gopi. So next day, he went to the gopi's house. He took Gopi's son with him. And Gopi saw Krishna coming and she hid. And Krishna saw the makhan. He did the whole pastime, right? So when Krishna did this pastime, the gopi then started screaming and creating ruckus. But as she was doing it, she was feeling so much bliss within her heart. So other gopis who heard this screaming, they said, oh my God. And Krishna went to her house. Why didn't he come to my house? Why didn't he do this in my house? Why didn't he do this in my house? So when Krishna, again, is Antaryami. So he said, oh my, this is the desire, I will fulfill. So he started going to each and every house and started stealing makhan. Krishna wanted to fulfill the desires of his devotees, which remain unfulfilled in his previous, appearances. So therefore, he chose not to follow any rule and regulation. The only rule and regulation he followed was the language of love. Whatever the love forced him to do, he would do. And his devotees also reciprocated in the same way. Whatever their love for him forced them to do, they did it. That is called Raganuga Bhakti. That is the bhakti of Brajvasi Bhakti, which is the topmost bhakti, which is called Raganuga Bhakti. They have so intense love for Krishna that the intense love transcends all the religious boundaries and everything. And they act out of that love for Krishna. But one cannot artificially enter into the realm of Raganuga love. One has to practice Krishna consciousness in a disciplined way. After practicing in a disciplined way, a time comes when slowly, the love inside our heart becomes so intense that we cannot keep up with the discipline anymore. We're feeling that while keeping up with the discipline, Krishna is suffering. I cannot let Krishna suffer. And that's when the change happens into Raganuga Bhakti. So to summarize my long-winded answer, Krishna personally wanted to fulfill the desires which remain unfulfilled in many, many, many incarnations. So therefore, he this time decided. That's why he's called Lila Purushottam. He opened the floodgate of Lila. He did not follow any rules, regulations. Whatever his devotees, his loved one desired him to do, he did it. So that's why he acted differently in Krishna Avatar. Is that okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Very nice question. Because of your question, we hear this wonderful pastime from Prabhuji.
Who asked the question?
Yeah, I don't know the name. I can see. Yeah,
You can
Prabhu.
see Ashwin.
Ashwin Prabhu.
Ashwin, Prabhu. Are you from India, Prabhu?
Mary, do you remember like I have came at Swapnankal's home?
Oh, Ashwin. Okay. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, Prabhuji, I will share the bhajan now. I hope everyone can see it.
So how do we want to sing? Everybody sings together? Or
On the call, the problem is a lot of echo will happen. So maybe you can sing and we all can repeat it in the background, like with the mute. I don't know. Yeah. It's unfortunate, but that's the best option we have.
that's okay. I love to sing this bhajan. This is my love from childhood. Shri Ramachandra Kripalu Bhajamana Harana Bhava Bhaya Darunam Navakanjalochana Kanja Mukhkar Kanjapada Kanjarunam Kandarpa Aganita Amita Chabi Navnila Nirada Sundaram Pitapet Manahu Tadita Ruchi Suchi Namija Sutavaram Bhajadina Bandhu Dine Sadanav Daitya Vansani Kandanam Raghunanda Ananda Kanda Koshal Chanda Dasaratha Nandanam Shiramukut Kundala Tilaka Charu Udaru Anga Vibhushanam Ajanu Bhuja Shara Chapdar Sangrama Jita Khara Dusanam Idhi Vadati Tulsi Das Shankar Shesha Muni Manaranjanam Mamaridaya Kanjani Bas Kuru Kama Dikhaladar Ganjanam इति वदति तुलसीदास शङ्कर शेषमुनिमनरञ्जनम् मम हृदय कुञ्जनिवास कुरु कामादि खलदलगञ्जनम् श्रीरामचन्द्र कृपाळु भजमन हरण भव भयदारुणम् नवकञ्जलोचन कञ्जमुख कर कञ्ज पदकञ्जारुणम् श्रीरामचन्द्र कृपाळु भजमन हरण भव भयदारुणम्। श्री 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 सीताराम लक्ष्मण भरत शत्रुघ्न हनुमान जी महाराज की जय। गोस्वामी तुलसीदास जी महाराज।
Thank you, Prabhu. So, as a last, in the last thing in the program, we will also sing Narasimha prayer, and let's keep everyone in our thoughts, in our prayers, each other in thoughts, in prayers, our families back in India, everyone, all our friends, and everyone, the entire community, the whole world in our consciousness. A lot of people are still struggling with COVID and whatnot, and so let's keep the good health, and may Lord protect everyone, and He deserve whatever He desires, the best for them may happen. So I think Amish, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hari Bol. So you can, whenever you're ready, you can start Narasimha prayer. Let's sing with our full heart, and as always, we'll keep ourselves on the mute, and Amish will lead us through the prayer.
Namaste Narasingaya Prahladaine Hiranyakashi Purvasyaha Shrilatankalnakhayae Ito Narsingo Parato Narsingo Yato yato yamita to narsinga Pahe narsingo hirdaye narsingo Narasimha madim sharana prapade Tava kara kamalavare nakham abuda shringa Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubringam Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Narasimha Dev, Jaya Narasimha Dev, Narasimha Dev, Jaya Narasimha Dev, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Nitya Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitya Gaura Hari Bol. Gaur Premanande, Vigna Vinashaki, Bhagwan ki jai.
Yeah, thank you, Amish. So it's 9:19. We'll end the program here. Thank you again, Prabhuji, His Grace Padmanabh das prabhu for wonderful Ram Katha and by immersing our consciousness in the Appearance Day celebration of Lord Ram. And thank you everyone for joining this evening, in spite of being a weekday. And thank you so much for joining, for your association, and we look forward to see you on Friday evening again. Hare Krishna, Shri Ramachandra Bhagwan ki jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna all, Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare.
Thank you very much for your program, Devendraji. We really appreciate.
Hare Krishna, auntie. Please accept.
Hare Krishna.
Good
Good night.
Good night. Hare Krishna.